I, 32M, I hate my GF's 30F dog and I don't know what to do about it. Before you think I'm an utter monster, I'm an animal person. I have always been the kind of person who will save kittens, puppies from the side of the road. I've rehabbed a few wild animals as well. I love dogs. My girlfriend and I have been together for a year and a half. She bought her mini goldendoodle, 2M, about 3 months before we started dating. I thought it was really cute that we could both be dog parents together. The problem is that her dog is an absolute menace. He barks 24 hours a day. He is anxiously attached to her and will freak out if she leaves the room. He is extremely touch-shy and will growl, bark, snap without warning. He listens to commands approximately 4% of the time. He resource guards human spaces like the bed, couch, snapping, growling when you even sit next to him. He has no leash discipline, is always jumping on people, aggressive with other dogs. I have my own dog, a big, 100 pounds, mutt. Sorry, no dog tax. I don't want my girlfriend finding this post. I think he's probably a PYR Shep mix. I grew up with dogs and I was serious about training my own because I know his size can be intimidating. He's a good boy that mostly just wants scratches and sleep now, but he was a mess when I rescued him. Now, 4 years later, he's extremely well behaved due to his training. At first, girlfriend implied she was doing everything she could, and the dog simply wasn't listening. She'd frequently imply that my life was easier because my dog is just better behaved. I explained my dog was actually certifiably insane before roughly 2 years of daily training, and asked her if she wanted help training her own dog. She said yes, that would be great. Here is the problem. Girlfriend takes literally nothing I say seriously. I am not a fan of punishment, pain. For most dogs, positive reinforcement works. So I said there were a few small changes she could make immediately that would make her life easier. Distracting him with toys when strangers show up at the door. Getting him a crate. Rewarding him when he is being quiet. I said it was also probably a good idea to get him into official dog school. She wasn't raised with dogs, so she doesn't actually know a lot of common dog language, things like anxious yawning, etc. This has led to a lot more arguments than I could have ever predicted. I admit get frustrated when I see her breaking really easy rules to follow. For example, because he's cute and looks like a teddy bear, she frequently throws herself on him and cuddles roughly with him despite his growling, squirming, snapping. She hasn't gotten him a crate, even though he was originally crate trained, and his bed is right in front of the glass door. He has no doggy-only spaces and she will invade his space when he's in bed, sleeping. She often lets him pull at the end of his leash. She laughs and acts like it's no big deal when he jumps on someone, slips his harness, runs up to people. She thinks it's cute and people should relax. I think we live in a big city, and this dog is going to run into traffic and get hurt. She gets upset but doesn't change the behavior. She lets him off leash even though his recall is very low. Despite the fact he's clearly a smart dog, she walks him maybe 30 minutes a day and doesn't train with him very often. One time we got into a serious argument because she let her off-leash dog be inappropriate with another on-leash dog and the other owner got mad at her. I basically picked her snapping, growling dog up and moved him out of the situation. She was livid at the other woman for making an angry comment, leash your dog. But I actually agreed with the woman and I said, I think he probably should be leashed until he knows how to behave. She accused me of being rough with her dog when he was just defending himself from a dog he attacked. Anyway, the fight was brutal. We agreed not to really discuss the dog after that. And now the dog is a point of jealousy between us. I can't believe I just had to write that sentence, but I did. She will roll over and greet the growling dog in the morning before she says anything to me, even if I'm clearly awake and the dog isn't. Rather than training him, she treats him like a teddy bear and is obsessed with what I can only define as his aesthetic, rather than his value as an actual dog. I will be having a very serious discussion with her, and she'll be distracted by the dog needing her affection, doing something cute. Usually it is him misbehaving. I mean, I'd be okay if it happened sometimes, but it feels like I'll be 2 sentences into a conversation with her, and she will tune me out because he's in the room. For the sake of honesty, I'm writing this because about 3 weeks ago, my friend died in a freak accident. I was close with him. I was sitting on the couch, trying not to cry, thinking about how we had plans for Nye. And as I was talking about it, my girlfriend was too distracted by her dog to listen. Her dog was literally just eating dinner like a normal dog. When I said something about it, she rolled her eyes and said it was petty to be jealous of a dog. Meanwhile, unfortunately, she's jealous of how her dog listens to me. I bring treats etc. on walks to reward him, just as I do with my own dog. I try to work with him because he clearly wants to work. He is very anxious and has a lot of energy, and I think he's a really savable dog. At this point, he prefers me to her, and she's admitted she feels jealous of me because of this. Again, I tried to explain everything I'm doing respecting his space, listening when he gets anxious, giving him tasks, and she acts like I'm nagging her. Maybe I am? She gets upset because I don't like the dog over at my apartment. Like I said, he barks a lot, and I'm not supposed to have two dogs. She says I hate the dog because I'm constantly correcting him and not letting him be himself. I don't think it's cute when he barks, misbehaves. I treat him the same as my dog, except my dog doesn't misbehave as much, so it looks like I'm biased. I consistently remind her of my dog's demon side, and it does still come out sometimes, and show her that I correct both of them. She thinks that because I don't hug, manhandle her dog, I hate him. I have explained to her that I don't think he's ready for that kind of handling. He's bitten me and her for less, hard enough to draw blood. I have repeatedly explained it took me like 2.5 years to get to the point of roughhousing with my own dog. We had been talking about moving in together, but I don't feel comfortable with that yet. I don't like that her dog harasses my dog, I don't like the barking, and I don't want to constantly be the bad guy just by actually training him. Recently she burst into tears and said she thinks I'm asking her to choose between our relationship and the dog. I'm not, I'm asking her to please take responsibility for the dog. We have had countless conversations about this, and it usually ends in tears, her accusing me of being mean to her dog, no matter how gently I try to phrase things. I literally Googled how to talk to someone about their dog's behavior before coming here. At this point, though, I think I do hate the dog. I hate what it's done to our relationship. I hate hearing him bark every 23 seconds. I've never felt this way about a dog before. I do think he's savable, but I also feel like he's just not the right dog for her. I am not willing to tell her that, it's not my place. I just don't know what to do. Is it time to pack it in? Am I choosing myself rather than the dog? I don't know. Too long did not read. My girlfriend's dog is a menace to society due to a lack of training and it's causing problems in our relationship. Damn, you can't live like this. Your girlfriend hasn't been taking you seriously, and it sounds like she doesn't even think there's a problem with how her dog is. You'll never be able to move in together while the dog is around. Your quality time will always be interrupted by her barking dog. Someone told me once, imagine that you can't change someone. Would you still stay with them if you knew they'd be like this forever? Way too long did not read. Don't date people who don't train and control their animals. This is about so much more than the dog. You're grieving the loss of a friend and she can't be there for you. She doesn't listen to what you have to say and doesn't take you seriously. This isn't about the dog. This is about, if you spend your life with her, never having another stable, well-behaved pet ever again. That's what life becomes if you attach yourself to a bad pet owner. You're redirecting your emotions about your girlfriend's behavior towards her dog because it's less life-altering. The dog is not the menace. Your girlfriend is. She has utterly failed this dog. You can never own a dog if you live with this woman. She will undo every bit of training you instill. And her lackadaisical pet ownership attitude is a legal and financial liability. You probably need to accept that your girlfriend is treating her dog more like a toy, accessory, cuddly toy than an animal that needs proper training and management. Scores of people get dogs without understanding them or appreciating the work they entail. It is good that you are trying to help her, but it's pretty clear that she isn't taking any of that on board. So really you only have a few options if she won't change. Dogs live a long time, and unless she either steps up her game, or rehomes the dog, it will be a long-term problem. So can you tolerate that? Most people wouldn't. My boyfriend 27M and I 27F have been dating for 3 years now. How to deal with this? What prompted me to write this is something that's come up again due to financial struggles and the financial stress of the holidays. Whenever he buys me something, usually this is something he insists on or will do as a favor, like fill up my gas tank when I'm low on gas, etc. He will complain about it afterwards and say things like, "Guess I just won't eat this week." I insist on him not buying for me if he can't afford it, but he will anyways. I try to say how thankful I am for it and that it's appreciated. But it makes me feel insanely guilty and wish he just wouldn't buy me things at all. Regarding Christmas and my birthday, which are both in December, he will tell me how much he spent on me. Yesterday he was saying how he spent $100 on me, etc. It makes me feel absolutely horrible. I would never tell someone how much I spent on them for gifts. When I tried to bring it up with him, he said he should be allowed to complain to me about it. I come from a family who also held it against me if they bought things for me like food, presents, etc. So this is very triggering for me in general. I never ask him to do these things for me and never have expected presents or favors. I don't know how to show him this is really hurting me and makes me extremely anxious and guilty about having him do anything for me. I'm not even sure he's aware he's doing this, because he will tell me how relationships aren't transactional when I try to pay him back, etc. I'm at a loss here. I don't think it's malicious. Edit. I really appreciate all the advice. I think I plan to have another conversation about it with him and explain how deeply it's affecting me. I'm also going to try and be more assertive and not let him do me favors anymore and get more comfortable saying no to him. At this point I kind of just want to tell him to stop buying me anything at all, gifts, etc. in general, to avoid all of this. This is highly manipulative on his part. He gets what he wants by making you feel guilty and indebted to him. I find it unlikely that he would spend beyond his means if he's really as he appears. This is a toxic, manipulative way of establishing a power dynamic. If this triggers something you've experienced before that was traumatic, I suggest therapy to explore why you might be repeating these relationship patterns. As strange as it may seem, sometimes we unconsciously choose familiar hells over unfamiliar heavens. Guess I won't eat this week. Cool, I've spent $100 on you already. Sounds like a stupid idea when you can't afford food. I did this to make you happy. Well, I hope you kept your receipt, because it didn't. You've already told him you're not interested in gifts while you're financially struggling and don't appreciate his Eeyore martyrdom. Give anything back. Refuse to open anything wrapped. Well, first and foremost, I would refuse all gifts. I would treat him as someone trying to serve me papers if he had a gift. From there, he is just being a child. I honestly struggle to offer advice because it should be so obvious what he's doing is silly. Telling people how much you spent on them is very rude. You need to draw a strong boundary against that behavior or emphatically decline gifts until he gets the message. Dump the selfish turd. No one wants what he's offering. Your boyfriend is emotionally abusive. If you have to constantly explain your grievances and they fall on deaf ears, know that it will not change. Stop trying to show him, stop settling for someone who always wants you to feel guilty, and end the relationship. Couples counseling does not fix this type of thing. He is not a good partner. You are staying in the relationship because it is similar to your unfair upbringing, so you are familiar with it. Reject it. It shouldn't be how relationships of any kind are. Leave him safely and from a distance in a text once you've found somewhere to go if you live together. Stumbled upon a message from my boyfriend, 33 male, ex, 32 female. Thoughts on this? Hi everyone, I'd like some thoughts on this. My boyfriend, 33 male, and I, 27 female, always have had access to each other's phone. Now one night as he had me on his phone searching up cars, this message comes in. I'm sorry but curiosity got the best of me here. The message: hi, can you please let me see the babies? Otherwise, I'm gonna buy out my lease and bring them to Az. Or move back and make it work. Please, boyfriend name, you said I was your best friend, ha ha ha. Not true. But those are my babies, and you are not taking care of them. I love them, and I love you. This is all unfair. I hope you're happy with the new one. Hope that she is everything you ever wanted, but those are my babies, and I'm worried. You've broken me, and I can't not have them in my life. I want you to be happy, but I need to know how my babies are. This is verbatim of how the message was written. Edit. By the way, what prompted this message was that one of the dogs was a little sick, but he made sure to take care of her and provide any additional care. Background information. His ex and him have been separated for a year now. He was with her for about 6 years. He's had 2 dogs since before they even got together, which it's the babies she is referring to. He sends her pictures every now and then. She has a bad habit of calling late at night. He doesn't entertain much conversation with her, but yet she texts this crap. Thoughts on this whole situation? And I ask this with all sincerity because I have not owned a dog. I do not talk to or reach out to my exes. And I'm not sure if my feelings are just making me have a biased feeling. So non-dog owner here, but certainly have experiences dealing with a crazy ex. So I don't think you need to worry about your partner cheating or anything, at least based on the text you shared here. I do however think he has played a dangerous hand by entertaining texts to this woman with pet updates, especially if the dogs were his prior to the relationship. I think she's using the dogs as a means to stay in touch, keep herself in his life vicariously. Maybe I'm being overly cynical here, but having dealt with a very similar type of ex, it's vital sometimes to go and see. I would just bring up that you saw the message and have a conversation with him about it. They were together for a long time, so it makes sense that she misses the dogs, but it's inappropriate for her to text him like that and late at night. He needs to set boundaries. The fact that she said, "and I love you," would be all I needed to tell the boyfriend that he needs to cut off contact. He can tell her he's sorry that she misses the dogs, but they were his dogs before they were together, and they will remain so. He can also add that out of respect for you, he needs to go and see with her because he doesn't want to make you feel uncomfortable, or something like that. As long as there is any kind of communication between them, however minimal, it gives her something to hang on to. She needs a clean break to move on. There's a saying that, a wound will never heal if you scratch it, and she keeps scratching it every time she reaches out to your BF. Communicate to your boyfriend how you feel about it, and hopefully he will do what's right and go and see with the ex. It's his dogs from before the ex. She has no legal claim to them. I get it, they were together a long time, but they are dogs. Like, come on now, he doesn't need to be sending updates or in contact at all. If he wanted to, he could absolutely go no contact, but a part of him doesn't want to. If he's sincerely done and Moed on, he needs to block her. This isn't acceptable for him to tolerate. I'm gonna be real with you, Op. All of this sounds like a cop-out for him. She has a right to see the dogs. No. They're his dogs. They're not together. She's overstepping with messages like this, and he's leaving a door open for her to do so. It's time for him to end this. This relationship between them is going nowhere. Me 20M and my girlfriend 20F, can someone please help me with this issue? Me and my GF have been together for a month. We've had intercourse already a couple times and I love her. Today she asked about my exes and I trusted her to not freak out. I've had 3 exes from when I was 14 to 17. I lost my virginity while 14 and my girlfriend was pissed after she heard that. We were both 14, my ex being 4 millions older. My girlfriend said she had to go and didn't respond to any of my text for like 30 millions. Then she apologies, basically tells me she's mad at me and tells me we need a break. I said okay and left it at that. I want to just leave her alone to process that IG. But I have dated as an adult before, and honestly I'm hoping maybe one of you, maybe older bros and gals, could give me some advice, please. Folded hands. She sounds very insecure. You're 20 years old, and most 20-year-olds have had some type of sexual experience by that time. It's very normal for that age group. I don't know if it's because she hasn't had that or because she didn't like hearing that from you, but either way, that's an issue on her part, not yours. Maybe she has some past trauma or whatever, but she probably needs counseling, not some dude to direct that negative energy onto. You can give her some time to process that if you want, but it's very early into the relationship for this kind of thing to be going on. If someone did this to me this early on, I'd leave, to be completely honest. 2 things. 1, mate, you don't owe anyone a recap of your past sexual experiences. Ever. 2, she took her mask off. It will only get worse. Do not go back to her. You don't love her. You might think you do, but this isn't love. Neither of you are mature enough for this, clearly. She's mad at you for something you did 6 years ago when you didn't know her? She's immature AF. You're 20 years old, bud. Move on and find someone who doesn't get mad just to fight and get attention from you. 3 partners and she's freaking out? That's cute. Run. Did she expect herself to be the first? Weird, especially when she asked. Very insecure and needs to get a handle on the emotions for stability. Were you supposed to wait for her?